repeat of it. Quite sad, but to thank God that the casualty, though there is, that it was not as grievous as the previous.
The explosion happened when a gas truck carrying about 8 cylinders fell on a vehicle while navigating the roundabout on the Bulletin flyover in Port Harcourt. An eyewitness spoke on this.
To me, it's fine. To me, it's like you know, enter then jam to taxi. One escape, but the other one do escape. Nine tumble. So I was maybe he climbed one of this pavement and maybe tumble that fall. So it's catch fire.
He said the gas truck almost crushed 2 vehicles, but his vehicle sped off and the other one couldn't.
And it's like, as I see under the trailer now, you can see it now. But one of them escaped. The driver escaped too. The other is the trailer. He brought down, he brought the well, we're not confirmed yet. Until the fire service they are done with their work, they will confirm if anyone is inside.
The driver of the vehicle that escaped the incident, identified as Prince Sunday, also spoke to our correspondent.
As he hits me, the pressure now can't turn commode. But this one already my phone no turn commode. I see they go straight. I really think cover and completely. Inside that motor, I'm not sure if anybody come out. But I just see somebody run, they follow me for back. I know that come out or he just stand around. So but the man come out when they thank God, he's not driving to. I know that they inside motor or he just stand around. And I don't know if somebody come out. So because I was busy with my driving out so that to not catch up with me. Yes, it was on speed. The tire has already jacked up self. So as I noticed it, that's why I moved. But what I know is that the motor just stumbled, the front started catching fire. It's my own car with one other guy. So that's the 2 vehicle I carried.
The Federal Fire Service put out the fire. The area was cordoned off, causing gridlock on other adjoining roads, including the East-West Road. Meanwhile, some residents who live close to the Bulletin flyover said they felt vibrations during the incident and the explosions also affected their buildings. They spoke to our correspondent about this.
This morning, I was in the house, I was cooking. What I heard was boom. So when I heard it, I ran out. I was at the other place. The next thing I heard was boom. The thing now bounced in the middle of the yard and bounced to this way. So when I came to check, they had scattered all the ceiling in the house. But it was up to 1 hour 30 minutes before fire service came. And by then it has exploded more.
The tanker and lorry drivers, if they are respecting our laws, some of these things will not happen because they are expected to ply the road from 10 p.m. The effect of the explosion also affected the houses, like as you can see. There is the vibration from that explosion. That's what led to this. So it's very unfortunate.
Our correspondent visited the areas where the impact of the explosion was felt a few meters away and reported seeing fallen ceilings in some apartment. The bumper from the gas truck also cut through a mango tree in one of the compounds. In the meantime, the chairman of the River State chapter of Nigeria Environmental Society, NES, Daminabu Amos, has urged the state government to set up an emergency response team to reduce the recurrence of fire explosions in the state. He spoke to our correspondent.
The HSC of every company should be looked into very seriously, especially companies that are into haulage business that move heavy duty trucks from one point to the other. Because what has happened, it's not a natural disaster, but it's a man-made disaster. And again, from the aspect of the government, there is time for us to have an emergency response team. The government needs to set up an emergency response team.
The public relations officer of NES River State chapter, Daniel Judge, and the student wing coordinator, Samuel Paul, also spoke on other safety measures.
I believe that as a state, like Rivers State, important we have our state emergency management agency. We should put things in place, not when things happen that we begin to look for solutions. We should have Rivers State emergency management agency everywhere. I'm surprised from Choba to Lumokoro, there is no fire service station. The nearest fire service station we have maybe is the one in Uniport. So it's important that we have state emergency management agency to handle such things like that.
As you may know, yesterday's incident came less than 48 hours after a fire outbreak at an electronics shop nearby, where residents complained that there were no emergency responders. A month ago, there was a tanker explosion along the Eleme axis of the same East-West Road, which left 4 people dead and destroyed over 60 vehicles. Moving on, the Rivers State governorship candidate of the Action People's Party in the 2023 elections, Lesi Borobosi, has expressed confidence in taking over power from Governor Siminalayi Fubara in 2027. In a statement, Dr. Borobosi outlined 9 governance priorities aimed at advancing Rivers State, including good and integrated governance, job creation, solid education, a secure society, a strong economy, the development of 3 new cities, human capital development, accessible healthcare, and regular pension payment. He said he plans to allocate 30 billion naira annually for job creation across the 23 local government areas and ensure that pensioners receive their monthly payment at the same time with civil servants. He also intends to establish local government offices to facilitate easy pension verification. In education, Dr. Borobosi aims to reform the sector by incorporating entrepreneurship and mentorship programs to support students in starting businesses before graduation. He plans to develop 3 new cities, 1 in each senatorial area, which will serve as economic hubs with industrial parks to spur economic growth. And now the Caretaker Committee Chairman of the All Progressive Congress APC in Rivers State, Tony Okocha, has refuted reports that he congratulated and apologized to Governor Siminalayi Fubara as he celebrated his first 1 year in office. Mr. Okocha, at a media conference in Port Harcourt, said the report is an attempt to malign his reputation. He said he could not have congratulated a government that has not lived up to its responsibilities in the state. He challenged the governor to show any project initiated and completed in his 1 year in office to deserve his commendation.
I could not have congratulated a government that is in ICU, not as Tony Okocha, worst case as chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Rivers State. How then will anybody imagine that I, Chief Tony Okocha, will stand up to grandstand to be in the bag of people who show vagaries to begin to love what I hate? That is not my training, and I condemn it and sin, in fact, as a concoctment whose intentions to malign my name by showing me off as one who speak from both sides of my mouth. That is not my character trait.
He also urged Rivers people not to adjudge the Fubara administration to the payment of salaries and promotion of civil servants.
You compare what he has achieved in 4 months, because he said he has been in government for 4 months. So we're in trouble in Rivers State. It's an era of horror, stagnation in Rivers State under Siminalayi Fubara. Security is suspect. Companies are leaving in droves. Industries are closing down because of the fear of the unknown. The achievement of Governor Fubara, known to me, is the fact that he has traversed 23 local government areas of Rivers State in what he dubbed Thanksgiving for Supreme Court victory. That is his own achievement.
As you may know, there was an online report titled Tony Okocha Makes a U-Turn, Congratulates Governor Fubara on a Successful 1 Year in Office and Apologies. Still to come, President Tinubu orders for template for new minimum wage. Stay with us. Welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The Association of Omoma Community Development Committees says it is congratulating the River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara for his successful 1 year in office. In a statement signed by the chairman of the body, Nkem Anonam, and the secretary, Stanley Iraya, on behalf of their monarch, Ezonye Kachi Amonwo Ezomomath, they thanked the governor for identifying the needs of the people and adopting a speedy approach to address them. The group said the governor's focus on aggressive infrastructural development, workers' welfare, as well as agricultural and industrial development are steps in the right direction. It also commended the governor for the just concluded Investment and Economic Summit, describing it as a good strategy to attract investors into the state and a visionary path to the rapid development of River State. The Omoma Community Development Committee's forum also appealed to Governor Fubara to remember more local government area in the scheme of things and reiterated their resolve to stand by him at all times. Similarly, the Omoma Youth Leaders Forum says it is felicitating Governor Fubara on his first anniversary in office. In a statement on behalf of Ezonye Kachi Amonwo Ezomoma, the chairman of the forum, Wankwo Ukudiri, and the secretary, Nweketa Joseph, described Governor Fubara as a visionary, people-oriented and God-sent, following his developmental strides in the area of infrastructure, workers' welfare, and robust economic policies. The youth also commended the governor for the construction of the Youth Resource Center and pledged their readiness to take advantage of the program. The forum also charged all youth of Omoma local government area to remain law-abiding, peaceful, and enterprising, emphasizing that what Governor Fubara needs now is a peaceful atmosphere that would accelerate the development of River State. Away from that, a stakeholder from Romuagolo community in Obiakpo local government area, Prince Amadi, has refuted claims that Okechukwu Amadi has been removed as the CDC chairman of Romuagolo community. Mr. Amadi, in an interview with our correspondent, urged Mr. Graham Nwoko to consult his lawyer to brief him on the pending suit filed by Mr. Okechukwu Amadi at the appeal court regarding the ruling of the lower court. He urged the public to disregard any announcement that he is the CDC chairman of the Romuagolo community. He said Okechukwu Amadi remains the CDC chairman of the community.
It's very unfortunate that Mr. Graham Eledwork has not met his lawyer to be properly educated of the notice of pending appeal and stay of execution served on him in suit number CAPH/380 and/2023, having the Okechukwu Victor Amadi as the appellant and Graham Eledwork as respondent. So the purported judgment relied on at the lower court is already arrested due to the pending appeal. Comrade Okechukwu Victor Amadi remains the DC chairman of Romalo community. As I speak today, he is still in charge of all revenues and all administrative functions of Romalo community as the CDC chairman. Announcement made by Mr. Elendo Graham Wagum was made in error.
Workers are expected to resume duty this morning following the suspension of the nationwide strike by organized labor. Speaking on this, the chairman of the Nigeria Civil Service Union in River State, Chuks Osuma, says civil servants in the state will comply with any further directives after the 5-day suspension has elapsed. Correspondent Sir Bioroware reports that some residents applauded the decision of the labor union to suspend the strike.
Myself, I'm not happy for the calling of the strike because we Nigerian people who have enjoyed enough, then that is my opinion. They should demand their rights.
Okay. As for me, the 60 salary is not enough for us. Continuously, they wouldn't have suspended the strike. What are you suspending for 5 days? Which negotiation are you still going?
Yes, I want them to still continue and demand for their right until the right thing is done before.
Let them not cut off any strike. Let there be strike.
Yeah. Is it not strike be the problem? We are talking of when fuel day in order, transportation day in order. Everything will calm down for this country. So make them look those two things, especially fuel of 18 be the problem of this country. They make things to be too difficult for all of us now.
Meanwhile, the president of the Trade Union Congress TUC, Festus Osifo, says Labour will reject any lean addition to the 60,000 naira offer by the tripartite committee on the new minimum wage. Recall that the organised Labour started an indefinite strike over the delays in agreeing to a minimum wage for workers and the government's refusal to reduce electricity tariff hike. The strike crippled business activities across the country. In the meantime, President Bola Tinubu has directed Minister of Finance Wale Edu to present a template for a new minimum wage. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris said this in Abuja on Tuesday after a federal government delegation on the new minimum wage met with President.
The President has just summoned a meeting of all those who negotiated on behalf of the federal government, led by the Secretary of the Government of the Federation. We're all there to look at those issues, and then the President has directed the Minister of Finance to do the numbers and get back to him between today and tomorrow, so that we can have some figures ready for negotiation with Labour. And let me say that Mr. President is determined to go with what the committee has said. He's also looking at the welfare of Nigerians. Like I've said earlier, government is not against, it's not an opponent of labor discussions. It's not an opponent of wage increase.
In other news, the Rivers State Ministry of Environment has warned against desertification to protect the environment and ecosystem. Speaking at a media conference as part of activities to mark this year's World Environment Day 2024 celebration, Commissioner for Environment Sidney Wara stressed the need to protect and safeguard the environment. Mr. Wara said desertification weakens land, affecting ecosystems and agriculture. He also called for an end to harmful human activities such as indiscriminate waste dumping in drainages, which contributes to flooding. He appealed to everyone to play a role in preventing land degradation through responsible practices. Our correspondent reports that this year's World Environment Day theme is land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
U.S. President Joe Biden has issued sweeping new executive action aimed at curbing record migrant arrivals at the U.S.-Mexico border that have left him politically vulnerable in an election year. The White House said in a statement that under the new action, officials can quickly remove migrants entering the U.S. illegally without processing their asylum request. That will happen once a daily threshold is met and the border is overwhelmed.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, you heard Rivers State government says steps will be taken to avoid recurrence as gas truck explosion claims lives in Port Harcourt. The world is marking Environment Day, and on the foreign scene, the U.S. has announced asylum restrictions to control border. The news was edited by Chioma Ezinwafo. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechuku Moyeli. Many thanks for listening.
Democracy is the freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. Nigeria Info opens the mic.